What's going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football. We're going to be freestyling today, and pretty much the game plan is to talk about the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. And it's been a little while since I've been on the channel. A lot going on in life. We are expecting a baby in the next couple of weeks, so thank God everything so far is going very well. But we're going to talk some football, right? That's what we're here to do. And as a Green Bay Packer fan, I think it's hard to ignore what's going on in Green Bay right now. Starting again, as you can see here, with Jordan Love, right? So, I just want to double check before we get started that, all systems are go. I think it looks like, let me turn this down just a little bit. Looks like my audio capture is good. My video capture is good. Just double checking things because it's been a little while, right? So, as you can see from the schedule here, the Packers, good game to begin the season against the Chicago Bears. They started the year out 2-1. And the game in Atlanta could have been a win. They were leading the entire game. They lost by a point late in the fourth quarter. And then they had a weird, fluky win against the Saints, which could have easily been a loss. And then they went on a skid, right? Loss against Detroit, loss against the Raiders, loss against the Broncos, loss against the Vikings. The Broncos game was very winnable. Their offense didn't show up. The Packers' offense didn't show up. The Raiders game was very winnable. I think last play of the game, a toss up to Christian Watson in the end zone, and it was just intercepted. Christian Watson catches that ball, touchdown, Packers win. Same story in the Pittsburgh game, lob up to Christian Watson in the end zone to end the game. It's intercepted, Packers lose. You got a Falcons game, a Steelers and Raiders game that could have easily went the other way. And right now the Packers, as crazy as this sounds, could be 9-3. Again, the Saints game was a little fluky, but they did lose to the Lions, the Vikings. I think legitimately. The what was the other loss the Broncos game? I don't know. So long story short is this, right? Looking at the schedule, they win against the Chargers at home. They beat the Lions on the road on Thanksgiving, which I think a lot of people didn't see coming. And then they beat the Chiefs at home as well, which, again, most people didn't see coming. And you got to think to yourself, they're 6-6. I think the Packers fans as a whole were thinking going into this year that we would be lucky to get 6-7. This is a 6-7 win team when it's all said and done this year. Offense is too young. A lot of first and second year guys on offense. They need time to develop chemistry, especially offensively, right? Then going into 2024, hopefully Jordan Love has another year under his belt. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs are going to be going into year 3. The rookies with Jaden Reed and Musgrave and some of those guys on offense who are rookies this year are going to be going to. It's all about cohesion, chemistry, experience, and hopefully going into 2024, that's when the future really becomes bright. That's the assumption, right? That's the dream. Well, I think at this point in time, with how they've played and how they have been playing, they're ahead of schedule. It's hard to argue that they aren't. Aaron Rodgers yesterday said, let's not crown Jordan Love too early. And I think we have to agree with that statement because, we're just a couple weeks removed from them being, what was that, 2-6? Yeah, it was 2-6. So, we don't want to crown Jordan Love too early, but at the same time, he's playing very, very good football, and he's playing turnover-free football. So, can't ignore that. But another thing we need to do, a couple of things we need to do now is, minus Jordan Love, how have they been playing? And take a look at the schedule ahead, okay? So, how is the team playing right now without Jordan Love? Defensively, they're not giving up points. They're giving up, I think, about 20 points a game. I think that's top 10 in the league. And they're doing it without players like Jair Alexander. They're doing it with players like Corey Valentine or Ballantyne. There's Valentine and Ballantyne on both sides of the ball at corner, who are rookies. Or sorry, Valentine is a rookie. I think Ballantyne was drafted by the Giants in like 2019 in the 6th round. But guys who aren't really meant to be starters. And then in between some of these games, you've had a lot of guys hurt, like Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell. So starters have come and gone. I think Darnell Savage has also missed some time. So guys have come and gone from injury, and they've still found ways to hold teams to about 20 points a game. That's pretty freaking good. Okay, top 10 in the league. You're doing it without the best player offensively in Aaron Jones. He's been banged up all season. Christian Watson has missed games, who going into the year people, wanted to label him as the number 1 wide receiver. But, you've seen an emergence from Jaden Reed as a rookie. That's been huge. Luke Musgrave, before he went out with his, I think it was like torn or lacerated kidney or whatever the injury was, I'd say, if you had to say, good or bad so far from him, I'd say more good. So AJ Dillon has had to fill in some of that void at running back and make up for some of that. Even though he's not putting up 100-yard games in rushing, he's definitely been able in these last couple of games to fill that void, be physical, gain 5-6 yards a run at times when needed. So ultimately, it's led to this point where they're projected as the number 7 seed in the NFC. And is the Kansas City win, is that game the turning point? Is that the pivot point for Jordan Love and his future and where we're potentially projecting him to be, right? Aaron Rodgers in his first year as starter finished that year at 6-10. I think that was 2008, the 2008 season. 6-10. Jordan Love's already at 6, so we're 6-6. Let's try and find the schedule for the Packers here to look ahead, because I think it might be the easiest schedule left in the league now, going forward. Is there a better way of looking at this full schedule here? New York Giants. They're going to play at New York. Hey, Cubone, how's it going? They're going to play at New York. I think that's a very winnable game. Unfortunately, they don't show you the record here. I think the Giants are... What are the Giants? What is their record right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they 4-8, I think? Looks like. The Buccaneers are 5-7. The Panthers are 1-11. The Vikings are 6-6. The Bears are 4-8. Okay. Easiest schedule left in the league, and they're at 6-6. Let's hypothetically say they go 3-2. What does that do? What is the math on that? 9-8. They finish 9-8. They go 4-1. That's 10-7. They win them all. That's 11-6. Who would have seen that coming? Not me. Not many Packer fans. I mean, you're 2-6. You're thinking we're dead in the water. We're gonna get a top 10 pick. And we're just going to look to 2024. I mean, this is what we were expecting. We were expecting probably a 6-win season. We're expecting for them to struggle offensively, just build some chemistry. And that's what we're seeing in that 4-game losing streak. But they figured out a way to turn it around. Jordan Love is playing turnover-free football right now. That's what made Aaron Rodgers so great. And that's what is making Jordan Love look so great in the last 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. They've won 4 of their last 5, and here we are projecting them in the playoffs at this current moment in time. So I think it's a heck of a story. There's 100. You can write probably 101, different storylines, or have 101 different things you can write in a book from this season if the Packers just at least at bare minimum end up making the playoffs, because it wasn't expected. No one expected this. And it really is a fascinating story. So again, it begs the question, is the Kansas City Chiefs game that turning point or that pivot point in Jordan Love's very young career to where we can all kind of point and be like, that was the game where Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, turned on the afterburners, so to speak. That was the pivot point where Jordan Love showed the league that, hey, I'm here and I'm going to be here for a while. Or, like Aaron Rodgers said, people are starting to be quick to crown him early. Or is it a flash in the pan and maybe that was one of the better games he'll play in his career, and he's just an average to above average type of guy. We don't know, but from these last 3 games, it really has been some of the throws that he's made, especially for touchdowns. It's hard to say that he's not going to be good, but if he is good, the Packers have really found a way to do it again. Granted, they did not draft Brett Favre. They traded for him from Atlanta after his rookie season. I mean, hitting on 3 guys. I mean, the GM at the time when he traded for Brett Favre, he liked him a lot, and he had a feeling about him, right? And that's why he brought him in and traded for him, and the rest was kind of history. The Packers went on to win the Super Bowl in '96 and went on to another Super Bowl in '97 to lose against John Elway. But ultimately, Brett Favre had a Hall of Fame career, had a one of the best careers of all time at quarterback. And then for Aaron Rodgers to follow that up, sit behind Brett for 3 seasons, begin his career in 2008, win a Super Bowl in 2010. The storyline here is Jordan Love did all of that behind Aaron, sitting for 3 years, being drafted in the first round, sitting 3 years, and now getting a shot. But the storyline here is how young they are on offense. Christian Watson, second-year guy. Romeo Doubs, second-year guy. They draft Jaden Reed, Luke Musgrave. Let me just open the roster just so we can take a look at it, or maybe even just the depth chart here. Tucker Kraft as well. They took him in the 3rd round, right? Here's another guy. Might not be a very well-known name, but at wide receiver, it was Dontavian Wicks. I think they took him in the 6th round, 5th round, 6th round, somewhere in there. Dontavian Wicks has emerged as the number 4 receiver, and has looked pretty decent as well. So that is the other thing about it. They're the youngest team in the league. They don't have experience. All these guys don't know any better, and they're finding ways to win football games against the best teams in the league in the last couple of weeks. So it's a remarkable story that's very hard to believe unless I mean, if you watched every single game this year and have seen the ups and downs leading up to this point, personally, it's hard to believe. It really is. And if this is how Jordan Love is going to look for the rest of his career, statistically speaking, I don't know what the odds are on finding 3 guys like that in a row. But I would imagine it's below 1%. You see teams like, the Browns, as an example, who have gone through a turnstile of quarterbacks. The Bears. I know they had Justin Fields, but, I mean, let's be honest. In the last couple of seasons, besides Justin Fields, who have they had before him? Who else? What other teams over the years? Like the Jets. There's just teams that cannot get it right at quarterback. And for whatever reason, they're always, every 2 years, they're finding a new guy who just can't seem to develop and get it done. They draft a guy high in the 1st round, top 5 guy. Mitch Trubisky is a guy that the Bears took high. Didn't pan out, right? Zach Wilson for the Jets. And then even prior to that, Darnold was a high pick for them. Didn't pan out. There's guys that are projected to go high, and teams feel like they could be the guy, and they just ultimately aren't. And for whatever reason, Brett Favre is a 2nd-round pick. And for whatever reason, Aaron Rodgers falls, the 24th overall pick. Jordan Love, I think, was a 26th overall pick. These guys weren't top 5 guys. And for some reason, the Packers figured a way to I mean, it's not just the Packers. Obviously, it's the individual player himself has that greatness in him. But I think there's something to say about the development that goes into sitting and learning behind one of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Like, Brett Favre didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback to sit behind. He just kind of developed into that guy. But then Aaron Rodgers, I don't know how much of that was naturally God-given talent for Aaron Rodgers and how much of it was sitting for 3 years behind Brett Favre and learning and taking the game in, taking the speed of the game in, seeing how much of a difference it is between the college level and the professional level, and then same for Jordan Love. Learning and sitting behind Aaron for 3 seasons and taking in the speed of the game and all that, and developing his craft while sitting on the bench as the second string quarterback. And now it's his time to kind of shine and put all of those things together. So it's a phenomenal story, I think, especially if they make the playoffs. I mean, it very easily they could miss the playoffs. I want to see if we can take a quick look at if there's any type of playoff projector or bracket or something like that we can pull up. But let me see here. NFL playoff projections. Just really quickly, because I think there's a handful of teams at 6-6 in the NFC right now. I know the Vikings are 6-6. No, this isn't really going to show. This isn't going to show anything, is it? Let me see here. Playoff picture 1 day ago. This could be it. What I'm looking for is records. Here's the NFC. They're giving the Packers now a 68% chance to make the playoffs. That's amazing. And I'm assuming that's based off of strength of schedule, with theirs being like the easiest. They even have them higher than any of the NFC South teams, and one of the NFC South teams is guaranteed to make it in, right? So, I mean, this is remarkable, man. This is so hard to believe. I think the Rams are 6-6, Vikings are 6-6. Are the Seahawks maybe 6-6? It's amazing. So, seeding chances, but they give the Packers a 22% chance to be the 7th seed, and that's it. Oh, and then, okay, and the 39% to be the 6th. Yeah, I mean, as a Packer fan, you're a little speechless because of the expectations for this year, but it's just very cool to see. I think a lot of fans from other teams like the Bears or any NFC North teams are just like, dude, please, for the love of God, not again. Not again. We can't. We took 30 years of punishment. We can't do it again. Maybe Vikings fans a little less so. They've had some bright spots here and there. Like Lions and Bears fans, not so much. Okay, looks like I'm back. I don't know what just happened. Of course, the one time I try to live stream something cuts out, but hopefully I'm still here. I'll keep this short then if I'm gonna have some internet troubles. But yeah, I mean, strength of schedule again. Like, a lot of these teams are just really bad, and the Packers have a really good shot at bare minimum going 3-2, and I mean maybe even just sweeping these 5 teams. Finishing 11-6 would be something else. That would be 100% unforeseen, and I mean, just the talks of it is kind of like, wow. But Yeah, I think, long story short, we're at a point right now in the season where, the Packers just defeated the Kansas City Chiefs, and everyone's looking at Jordan Love like, is this it? Like, are we going to see another quarterback in Green Bay thrive for the next, 10 years, 15 years? Is this going to happen again? And I don't know. I think the answer is going to be in the next 5 games. We're going to get a better picture for how the Packers deal with playing bad teams, because they have played bad teams this season and they have lost to those bad teams this season. So just because their strength of schedule is bad and all the teams on the schedule don't have winning records doesn't mean that they can't lose, right? So I think I think temper, keep your expectations tempered, and but be cautiously optimistic. I think the Packers, I can see them dropping one of these games, especially to a division rival, maybe the Vikings, but on the road. But I think at worst they'll go 3-2. At best, I think they can sweep and go 5-0, and somehow by some miracle finish 11-6. That'd be just mind blowing. So going into next year, regardless of where they finish in the playoffs this season, if they make the playoffs, the future is definitely bright in Green Bay, especially offensively. Like, the chemistry to do this all in one season, and going forward, all these guys are on rookie deals and rookie contracts, and you're going to be able to bring in a couple of potential free agents if need be. Sky's the limit, man. I'm excited to see how this goes. Let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns. Hopefully my live stream didn't cut out and is still connected. But appreciate you guys tuning in for this one. I just decided to keep it short, but I'm still here. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I'm out.